As a way of introduction, even though we've all been chatting here a little bit, my name is Thiago Ferreira. I am originally from Brazil, in case the name didn't give it away, right? Oh, yeah, that's me. I'm just recording.
Oh, wow.
I'm just recording it, yeah. And my company is Elevate AI, where I'm the founder and owner. My role is that I'm an AI educator and an automation consultant as well. So that means I'm working with mostly small and medium-sized businesses. Number one, on corporate education, doing training on AI in general, all kinds of different tools. And also I'm working one-on-one with companies designing automations for their business based on their needs. And automations just mean think about anything that you do repetitively all day long, right? Like you open an email, you open an invoice, you copy the invoice number, you paste it in QuickBooks, you create a calendar event, blah, 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 blah. All that can be automated, saving you a ton of time that you can instead dedicate to your actual job, right? And the things that actually bring you value instead of the manual work and the copy paste and all that stuff. So I have a link there at the end as well, but definitely connect with me on LinkedIn as well. I usually get a lot of questions after the session. People usually send me a message. And so if any questions occur to any of you later after today, feel free to message me as well. So,
Gabriel, how did you come here? How did you find out about the event?
I live in Hollywood, very close to Gables, right? Hollywood. So I check Eventbrite and I attend an IA session the other day, and because there are agents right now selling much more than any person. And so like, okay, we need to replicate ourselves in a virtual space. Otherwise, we're going to be chatting about how was real estate in the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's extremely relevant right now, right? We're seeing it all over the news. It's the number one thing everybody talks about. We're seeing the effects of it in the economy, right? As we're going to talk about. And so this is what we're going to be covering today. We're going to talk a little bit of AI basics. It's going to be a little bit of similar to what you saw last time. What is AI even, right? A lot of people, most people are already using ChatGPT or any of these other tools. But if you asked any of them, what is AI? Probably nobody could tell you anything about it. We'll talk about a little bit about how it works, because I think it's important for us to understand conceptually how these things work, and I'll simplify it as much as we can. And then we'll talk about AI in the real estate industry specifically, some of the trends that we're seeing, what are the expectations from buyers, for example, as the world is changing. And we'll finish up by talking about the future, a little bit of what we can expect, but also the risks. No invention or no technology comes without risk. And I think it's important to acknowledge those, right, instead of ignoring them. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. And yeah, that's basically the agenda for today. So let's go. Before we start, actually, as a way of starting, I always like to create a custom image for our meeting. Many people haven't seen yet an image generator and how it works. So this is a fun activity that I always like to do. And essentially, it's going to be a unique image, because even if you've ever noticed, if you send the exact same prompt to ChatGPT twice, it'll answer you slightly differently, right? The overall idea might be the same, but the actual wording is going to be different. And it's the same with images. Even if you send the same prompt twice, you're never going to get the same image twice. So that's why we're going to have a unique image for our presentation here today. So maybe, what is our image going to be about? Is it a person? Is it a place? Is it a character? What do you want us to create?
It's going to be an image of Miami with more buildings.
Miami, okay. Miami full of buildings. So what's happening in Miami in our photo? Is there something special going on?
It's very sunny.
Very sunny. Okay. And is there any characters here, any people that we can see in this photo? We can be super creative, huh? What is tourists everywhere?
Cars flying.
I love that. Cars flying. What else can we add? Do you want to add something?
Bridges.
Cars flying over bridges. Okay. What
Which
else?
is in my
Over more. Over. Yes. Anything
palm
else?
trees.
Palm trees are visible. And maybe to finish here, do you want this to be a cartoonish image? Do you want it to be like ultra realistic?
Realistic. Cool.
Ultra realistic style. Okay, so let's see what kind of image we are going to get from our image generator.
Is that image generator for free?
So I'll talk a little bit about this application. So this specific application that I'm using, there we go. So we have some options. Even though I don't see any flying cars, let's try again.
Driving.
Make sure there are flying cars.
Flying.
Oh, thank you. Let's see. Even though these images here are pretty good.
Oh, are those round?
Oh, are those flying cars there? Wow. This one doesn't. Well, let's try again.
They put cartoon.
Make sure there are flying cars. Let's see. It's always fun. I love just being like creative with the image generator. Let's see if we got one that we like more here. This website's called Gamma, and it's a AI. There we go. So we have some options here. Do you guys prefer this one? This one? This one's flying over the water. Or this one?
We already have those. The ones that fly over the
Oh,
water.
yeah, the water taxi.
Yes.
So I like this one here. What do you guys think? It says Miami 2077. So that's going to be our unique image here for our presentation.
You said it's for free?
So this is a free
With double M or with
double M. So it's a free PowerPoint creator, and it has all these AI tools built in, including the image generator. And the cool thing is that it will actually create the slides for you, so you can paste whatever text you want directly into it, and it'll design the slides for you. And it is free up until a limit of how many slides. I pay for it because I use it a lot, and I pay $10 a month. So it's nothing crazy, right? And I think it's super worth it. So that is an example of a image generator, and you can go.
That image that was created, can I use it or do I need to pay a royalty? Do I need to?
You can use it. That's actually a really good question. I will talk a little bit about copyright in general, but yes, you can use that image for any purpose. Really, it's the way that they promote it. So, and I'm talking about AI every day, right? And I'm doing this kind of things and meeting folks like you guys. And there's two ranges that I hear from people about AI. Some people just don't care. They're like, oh, it's just like a fancy autocomplete, right? That we've had for years. I don't care. And then on the other end of the spectrum is people that are like, I hate AI. It's coming to take my job. Right, so we're going to address both of those things today and hopefully bring everybody together. And somewhere in the middle,
What is it
where
fancy autocomplete?
like autocomplete when you're typing and it just completes the word for you.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, but AI is much more than that, right? And so hopefully we can get everybody here on the same page and somewhere in the middle, right? That AI doesn't suck and it's also not coming to take everybody's jobs, as we're going to talk
It will
about.
create new jobs, right?
It will definitely create new jobs. So what is AI really, right? And AI refers to computer systems designed to mimic human intelligence. And it does this using data to make decisions and predictions. And I'll give you a little bit of an example of what that means. But the important thing there is the words that I have bolded and underlined. It is not actual intelligence. It is programmed to copy us, to mimic us. It's using math to do that, right? And as we know, AI is already everywhere, right? From your recommendations on Netflix, you've probably seen on Spotify, the little DJ or the AI playlists, right? AI-powered chatbots that we all hate, right? Like whenever we need customer service, yes, press 0, right? Voice assistants like Siri, which is slowly getting some AI features, but Alexa, who about a month ago got a huge AI upgrade. If you have an Alexa device at home, you've probably noticed the difference that it's working a lot better. And fraud detection in banking and so on and so forth. It's everywhere. And what I think is interesting about it is that usually if we look throughout a new technology like this, a world-changing technology, is usually also a changing of the guards. There's usually a new companies that are rising up to the top, startups, right? Like we think back throughout history, we see, for example, General Electric used to be the most valuable company in the world, right? A few decades ago. And then it started changing and changing and changing. With AI, maybe for the first time in history, that's not the case, right? When we talk about Gemini, we're talking about Google. We see Amazon making huge investments. We see Meta, right, which is the owner of Facebook, really pushing AI on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Facebook, and everywhere. And even when we talk about ChatGPT, which we know is the most popular AI tool right now, if you look under the hood, Microsoft owns 49% of OpenAI, which is the company that owns ChatGPT. So really, it's the same tech leaders, the same problematic tech leaders, I would say, that we've been dealing with since the invention of the internet and social media. It's the same people that we're still dealing with. And why? Because AI is just so expensive to train, right? Even these companies that came up and started this thing couldn't afford to keep going without investment and support from these big tech giants. And so that's why we're seeing that maybe for the first time in history here, there's not really a changing of the guard. We're not seeing new companies rise to the top.
Changing of the guard is an expression for a new.
So like changing, it means it's like a changing leadership, right? It's not a changing of the leaders. It's not new companies that are coming. It's the same people that we've been working with. So how does it work, right? You've seen this before. She could explain it to us. So how does AI work? This may look familiar. It's from The Price is Right. If anybody's ever been, I know that we all have jobs here, right? So we're not home in the middle of the afternoon watching TV. But if you've ever been homesick one day, right, and you're just bored watching TV, you probably caught The Price is Right. And they play this game sometimes that is called the Plinko board. How does the Plinko board work, for those that haven't seen it? We have our contestant here, and she drops a ball at the top. And along the way, there are pegs right here. And so every time the ball hits a peg, it can go either left or right. It has an equal chance of going left or right. And so we can see that a little bit better here. You drop the ball, and it goes right, right, left, right, 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 all the way until it falls down where our contestant gets the prize, right? And in the world of math and statistics, that's called a random walk. So equal hits the peg, equal chance of going left or right. The same way that when you flip a coin, you have 50-50 chance of getting heads or tails, right? What does that have to do with AI, right? So with AI, it works very similarly. You have your input, right? Your prompt that is like dropping the ball onto that Plinko board. And along the way, there are pegs. And those pegs are actually words. So every time it hits a new peg or a word, it makes a decision and it goes in a different direction, just like our Plinko board. Except that with the Plinko board, it can only go two directions, right? Left or right. With AI, it can go in about 70 million different directions. And then it hits another peg, another 70 million different directions, and another peg, and again and again and again, until we get those really almost instantaneous magical answers, right, that ChatGPT is giving us. So more visually, let's say this is an AI generated sentence, right? The best thing about AI is its ability to, in order to generate the sentence, the AI first came up with the word "the," and then here it made a decision. It had about 70 million different options where it could go, and it went with best. It made another decision here, thing, another decision, all the way to where we are now, where it's going to make the decision of what's going to be the next word in this sentence. So like I said before, it's using math and probability. So based on all the data that it has determined that the most likely next word in the sentence will be learn, right? So the sentence will become, the best thing about AI is its ability to learn. But it could also say predict, make, understand, or do. And it will choose which direction it will go depending on what you asked. And so it's not always going to give you the top answer. It's not always going to give you learn. Sometimes it will give you make, sometimes it'll give you do, depending on where you dropped the ball, depending on what your input was, it's making those decisions. And that's why when you ask the same question to ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini, they'll give you a slightly different answers. Like the facts will be the same, but the sentence structure and the words are going to be different because those systems are just calibrated differently. So some of them are programmed to give you the most likely word all the time. Some of them are programmed to be a little bit more creative and give you different variations. And so it's just making those decisions along the way.
Does like ChatGPT study me if I log in and I have an account? So does it, if I label it a lot, does it, and then I say express it in my words or my...
Yes, so ChatGPT is learning from you. Hi, welcome. No worries.
So it's learning from me specifically?
It's learning from you, and that is also helping in its calibration. So the answer, yeah, wherever you, yes. So the answer that it's giving you over time, it's going to get more calibrated towards the type of answers that you're looking for and the way that you speak as well. So that is the difference between the different models. It's just the way that they're calibrated to either be very exact with its predictions or maybe be more creative and give you different answers. And so that's really because if we think about it, all these systems have been trained on all the same data, basically, right? There's the internet is the internet. They've all crawled all the data, all the books, all the movies, all the everything. So they all should be the same, right? They have the same information. So they're calibrated different. And that's why some people prefer Perplexity, some people prefer ChatGPT, some people prefer Gemini.
One person that is very knowledgeable about AI, she said that because she's into that, and she said something like, "Oh, when it's raining, my hips or my bones hurt me."
Yeah.
So why this happening? So I told her, why you? And she said, I don't know. Why you are not asking to ChatGPT? She said, no, Emma, don't ask ChatGPT. Maybe it's right or not, but it's not accurate.
Yeah.
If I want more accurate answer, that I should use Perplexity, or she gave me two.
So
Census. So can you elaborate more?
Yeah, so I will tell you a little bit in a few slides. I will tell you guys how to get better results from ChatGPT or any of those tools. But essentially, the results that you get are only as good as the information that you put in, right? So your friend may ask, hey, like my hip is hurting, what is it? And ChatGPT is just going to give a generic answer. Your hip could hurt for these 50 different reasons, right? But if your friend had entered, my hip is hurting, I am a female, I am, 30 years old, recently I went rock climbing, blah, 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 blah. And then, the more information that you can give it, the more specific and the better answer that's going to give you. Yeah.
I did, I asked a legal question, about the Austrian law, and first it gave me an answer, and then I'm like, are you sure?
Mm-hmm. Good.
And then ChatGPT, repeated it, and then I'm like, no, but isn't it that way? So and then ChatGPT, you are right, thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
Who's the weirdest?
Yeah, so that was happening recently. That was even in the news that even the CEO of OpenAI had talked about, for some reason, the way they were programming things. ChatGPT was just agreeing with everyone, right? And I had the same experience. So, I was doing some research, and ChatGPT was always like, "That's a great idea," blah blah blah. And I was like, "I must be a freaking genius," you know what I mean? ChatGPT is like, "Wow, what a great idea," So that's been calibrated a little bit more now.
But in my case, it was really true. It was wrong. ChatGPT forgot to. I studied law in Austria, so there was it's a specific problem I was asking for. And just really did come up with the wrong answer. But then when I reminded ChatGPT, and then I'm like, couldn't it be that it's like this and that? And then it was agreeing.
Yeah, so
that's
it's
maybe my friend told me about that. It's designed to please you, and
it's
give you some answer, but never is gonna go against what you are saying or something like that.
Right.
I use it every day, and I don't want to say every moment. It's right out. And for this, former President Trump or ex-President Trump said, ChatGPT Trump is the current president. Oh, correct. So because he was reframed before the first term, right? When he was first term. So you start to train the product. But for instance, every email that I send, every text, correct this, and it improves. So it's more professional, a text or an email, everything. And the more that it learns from the way that I send the information, for instance, today, craft for one addendum, an extension that I needed to request, and I needed to specify additional escrow deposit, additional, the buyer is going to compensate the seller for the extension for 1 more month because the first loan went into the was not approved. So the way that I worded was thanks to ChatGPT. It helped me to be very professional. So I will encourage to use it for every text that you send to a customer, or if you're sending something in text and language, English is not your first language, it will correct to you.
But do you copy it first in ChatGPT, copy it back in a text message, or
I write it
integrated?
I write in ChatGPT, like you send a sentence to you what you want, and then it will correct and boom.
Yeah, what you're saying, you have to copy paste it. So, but now, so it depends on the phone that you have. So the Google phones, the Android phones have all that already built in.
Oh, no.
So with Apple, they're still launching those features. The AI features are already there. There's already an AI writer that can help you in your email and in your text messages as well. It just, you have to have the latest update. But they're slowly rolling those out.
But
so
I have the latest update. I don't have.
I'll show you later. Yeah. So essentially that's how AI works. Like I said from the beginning, it's just programmed to mimic us. It's not actual intelligence. It is not a living being. It is just programming that is using math and predictions in order to give us those answers, right? And so another way that I like to picture it is as a network of stars. So if you think of well, as we know, there are millions, trillions of stars in the universe. Like, we don't know how many, right? Trillions. And if we think of every word in the English language or in any other language, right, that has been written or typed that AI has crawled, if every one of those words is a star in the universe, imagine that every star is connected to each other. And AI is essentially just mapping the best way between the stars in order to get you the best answer. And so that is really what's going on in this AI system. Is really a multi-dimensional world, really, of inputs and words and letters that AI is kind of jumbling through and finding the best path to give you those magical answers that we all get from ChatGPT. So
the one detail, for example, baby steps on this subject, but for example, before you wanted to learn about something, you would go on Google and you would have to go to the sources like Wikipedia or maybe like CNN, New York Times, and this, and you would try to kind of, but now you just put, how's the economy in Florida? So they're gonna go towards like millions of pages and data and things, and so I think it's much more than this, right? Because
So it's interesting because that's totally changing the way that people search. If you think about the way that we use Google, where you should type something in, and then, as you said, you have to go click on this link, click on that link, you do your research, blah, blah, blah. That's called a search engine, right? And what ChatGPT is an answer engine.
But ChatGPT doesn't give you a source, right? Perplexity
gives you the source.
You can ask.
You can ask.
Once they will exclude the source, but they say, provide me the source, and they will tell you what
they will tell you. Yeah, but I love Perplexity because the sources are right there.
Yeah.
So image generation works very similarly, actually, to what I just talked about with the predictions, because pixels and colors can also be turned into mathematical equations. So in our universe of stars, instead of words and letters, for image generation, it is pixels and colors, right? And some of you might be surprised to know, a lot of people are not, because people have found out about this, that we've all been working for free for many years, training these AI systems. Every time we log into a website and it gives you one of those little captchas, identify all the dogs, identify all the taxis, identify all the telephone poles.
That's what we have been doing with that.
That's what we've been doing.
Security.
So we are identifying those images, and AI is storing it in its AI database as the label that you put. So you put, this is a taxi, AI identified, this is a taxi. This is a dog, This is
I
a cat.
sounded so that they control that we are not. I don't know. It always says that we are not a computer or.
It's interesting, right? It's saying it's the robot asking you to prove that you're not a robot.
Yeah, but that's
It's
not
ironic.
the reason why they're doing it.
It's one of the reasons they invented it for security, right? But at the same time, it serves the purpose of training the AI systems, right? So really,
so that AI recognizes what it is.
Exactly.
And for instance, one application that I use, I am a runner, so I'm on the streets. I like taking pictures of flowers, fruits. There are a lot of fruits that we can eat. So I ask, what is the name of this plant? Is edible? And sometimes, because I ask frequently that question, they tell me, you can prepare this with this, or yes, you can eat this. And they tell them the name, in what city or what countries it's grown that plant, or that was brought from Africa here. So
is it possible to do that with buildings also? Because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, what building is this? Not they all look the same.
Yeah.
It recognizes everything.
It recognizes everything. The camera on your phone, the AI that's built in.
But if I take a picture of a building, it's not telling me which building.
With the building, I've never tried, but I think it would, because it'll pick up your location as well. Yeah. But I would be curious to try.
I tried it. It doesn't work.
For instance, there was one person who said, "Guess where I am?" And I know that person was in Madrid. So send a picture of locations. What is the place? So I upload a picture, and then it told me in what location, what was the name of the building. So yes.
It's really impressive, right? And so with image generation, essentially, as I said, we've been training the systems, right? With the CAPTCHAs, we've been working for free, and it works the same way as the image or the text generators, right? And so connecting those dots, connecting those pixels and those colors. So that's why you start in the beginning there with nothingness, and depending on the prompt that you put in, you can end up with a drawing of a dog, a super realistic picture of a bowl of fruit, an interpretation of Starry Night, right? Or an architect's sketch, all just starting from the nothingness and connecting those pixels and iterating until it gives you the image, like we just saw with our Miami flying cars.
Beautiful picture, by the way.
Yes, we should sell that one, right? And so to connect those ideas together, right? Just to give you an idea of how huge this is. In our Plinko board example at the beginning, the Plinko board has 144 pegs, 144 decision points. And that gives it 65,000 possible different paths that the ball can go down. So that's why it's the perfect game for The Price is Right or a TV show, because they can record it every single day, thousands of episodes, and it's always going to be exciting, right? Because it's always going to be a different path. With the language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, the Meta AI, it's looking into 1,700,000,000,000 different parameters. Every time it gives you one of those, as I keep saying, magical answers that we keep getting, is looking over 1,700,000,000,000 different parameters and giving you the answer that fast, right? So we can begin to understand why these systems are so intensive and expensive to train, like I said in the beginning, right? And with image generation, we would think that it would be more parameters and images would be more difficult, but it's actually the opposite, because there's only so many pixels and colors. And usually with an image, it is what it is, right? So this is a dog wearing a tutu, right? This is a puppy. There's not a lot of interpretation there. With language, the same word can have many different meanings depending on the context that is used, and there are thousands and thousands of words, and there's thousands of languages, right? Or not thousands of languages, but many languages, right? And so image generation is looking at about 860 billion different parameters every time that it gives you those nice images. And so
the funny thing about AI is that with everything going on in like media, you never know which channel is giving the right information. People trust more on ChatGPT.
Yes. Oh my God, the image. Oh my God, yes, sometimes they do, and no, that did not happen.
I know, and it's hard to know even when you're scrolling what is real and what's not, right? And so
in WhatsApp, we receive a message that something weird happened, and then I put it, is that true? And this is a lie that has been since year 2005. It has been
fake stuff.
So it will have help us to correct that kind of line.
So
with Trump also, some of them are so real. Like, I mean, seriously real, and you never know because he does not, it's not predictable.
Well, you
but-
saw he posted just the other day a
Obama.
video Obama getting arrested.
Obama getting arrested.
But was that really?
So-
But did he really do it?
Well, we don't know if he did it. One of his interns, right? Yeah. We don't know. We don't know who did it. We don't know who did it. I'm sure Trump was like, "Get me a video of Obama getting arrested," right? And his intern was like, "Okay."
Trump wasn't
So, where did it come from, right? Let's keep connecting the dots here. So now we understand what it is that is just mimicking us, right? We understand that it's using math, and so let's get to where did it come from and why it's so expensive, right? So, and many people are surprised to know that it actually came from video games. So I always like to say, I remember when I was a kid, my uncle had Brazil. My uncle had an original Nintendo. I loved going to his house. I was like, "Mom, let me go play Nintendo." And then one Christmas, my mom gave me a Super Nintendo, right? And I was like so happy, like loved it. And then a few years later comes the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation and the Xbox. And what's new there were the 3D games. Right now, Mario had this entire 3D world instead of just scrolling the screen like it used to be in the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, right? And so when these 3D games were invented, many years later, AI researchers discovered that these chips, which are called GPUs, graphic processing units, the chips that are used for these 3D worlds, were also very good at processing data and training AI systems. So it all started with video games. I'm going to show you. So in the next slide. So we fast forward to today, where the company that makes these GPUs, right? We keep hearing about NVIDIA in the news. NVIDIA. Yes, that is now the most valuable company in the world. The first company in history to hit a $3 trillion and then $4 trillion valuation just in this past year, just because they make these AI chips, right?
Everybody's buying.
And so exactly, and we can see that in their stock price, right? And so, as I said, they in the beginning they were just making those video game chips, right? And so, and actually that's a little bit, I can show you here better. Year 2000, 2005, 2010, 2015, very steady stock price, right? They're just selling it to video game makers, maybe some other functions here and there. Nothing, no big movements there. And then comes 2020, and we see a peak here. And if you guys remember, there was a lot of things going on in 2020, right? I don't mean to trigger anybody and take us back there to the pandemic. There was Black Lives Matter, right? There was the Me Too movement. And everybody was home doing what? Buying crypto, right? And if you've ever heard of, I'm sure everybody's heard of Bitcoin. The creation of a Bitcoin is called Bitcoin mining. We're not going to get into those details today, but it's also a process that takes a lot of mathematical calculations. And so we can see that effect here in the stock, right? Everybody's starting buying crypto. The stock all of a sudden goes up, right? After 20 years of steady. And then, as we remember, crypto kind of died down a little bit. People started going out again, right? The quarantine was over. Price of NVIDIA stock goes down. And then, here, which year is that? Sometime in the middle, towards the end of 2023, ChatGPT was released, right? And everything changed.
What year was ChatGPT released?
2023. It's been about 2 years.
Not 2022, are you sure?
Pretty sure, but we can check that.
No, seriously, can we do consulting?
So, but either way, 2022, 2023, right? We can see the stock price here start going up, and that's where we are today. So this is actually from earlier today, around 4 p.m. The stock was at $173, up 434,000% since it was created. Yeah, since its inception. And as I said, first company to hit a $4 trillion valuation, right? And so the first one was Apple that hit $1 trillion. Then Microsoft was the first one to hit $2 trillion. And then Nvidia was the first to hit 3 and 4 trillion. And who knows if they're going to hit 5 trillion or what, right? And so why is that, right? It's because it's so intensive, right? As we just saw, trillions of millions and millions of different parameters, trillions of different directions that the AI can go in, times how many humans on the planet? Almost 8 million now, right? Time 8 billion, yes, thank you, 8 billion, times like however many requests people are entering every single minute. You can see how those numbers get exponentially impossible for us to even picture, right? And so that is why the Nvidia stock just keeps going up, because they're pretty much the only ones that have this chip technology.
What is if somebody else comes up with it?
So Google and Facebook and Amazon are all working on their own factories and their own chips. However, you can see NVIDIA has been in this game for a long time, right? And the research has said so far is that it takes about 10 years to build one of these chip factories and to design your own powerful chips.
Even if you're like...
Even if you're Google.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. And so that is why people keep betting on NVIDIA, because it seems like for the foreseeable future, they're still going to be the only game in town, right? And what happens when Google and Facebook and all these others open their factories? I don't know, right?
China launched
their own, right? And they're trying, but they're still very behind technology-wise on the chips. And so that is why people keep betting on NVIDIA, right? And so I always like to say in this part, this is not investment advice, right? Don't sue me if you go invest on NVIDIA and lose money. Who knows, right? Many different things can happen. There's a lot of geopolitical risk here. But that is why the stock price just keeps going up and up and up and up, because more and more companies are adopting AI. More people are using it every single day. And they just keep selling these chips like hotcakes, right? So...
Is that company American?
Yes, it's an American company. Yeah. And so...
I just bought them, like, I think a week ago. Yeah.
It's probably up, because when I did this presentation last week, the stock was at 169 when I took the screenshot, and it's 173 today.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
So, and every sector, right? It's everywhere. In consumer tech, like we talked about with our Netflix and Spotify recommendations, right? In Zoom, like the automatic like meeting transcribers, and the Samsung and iPhones, right? But not just in technology, right? We're seeing Walmart, Target, Nike using AI for inventory management, demand forecasting, customer service with chatbots that we hate, as we talked about, right? Food and beverage, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, all testing AI drive-thrus, which I always think this is a fun exercise to think about. So we already walk into a McDonald's and there's a huge screen, right? There's barely anybody at the cashier anymore. Next, it'll be an AI taking your order at the drive-thru. And a lot of these companies are also already using robots to make the food. So all of a sudden, a McDonald's or a Taco Bell that used to be a great entry-level job for someone, right? Or even a part-time job for somebody that needs extra cash or whatever. All of a sudden, this McDonald's and this Taco Bell or whatever only needs 1 or 2 employees to maintain it and run it. And so interesting to think about, but that's the way things are going. And in banking and finance as well, fraud detection, contract review, customer service, real-time risk analysis, and so on and so forth, right?
But they've been doing, in those businesses, they have been using it for a long time, right?
Yeah, but more and more applying it more and more. And so especially with the food and beverage and everything else, like they're doing a lot of research and opening up those restaurants. And so, yeah, more and more every single day is being used. And in the real estate market, right? We know, I was talking to Alan earlier, there was a recent study by the World Economic Forum that showed that about 75% of the leading brokerages are already using AI for marketing, for lead generation, for client communication. And what that's doing is completely changing the buyer's expectations, right? Like now the buyer wants everything faster. They want everything more digital. They want experiences that are personalized to them. And that's completely changing the relationship between buyer and seller and everyone else that's in the middle of that transaction, right? All the agents in different parts of the process. And so the real question for agents and for everybody in the process is if you're meeting your clients' expectations, right, and not getting left behind. And so how is AI affecting the world of real estate? We see it in smarter valuation and forecasting. So, for example, with Zillow's estimate tool, now they are using it to price homes more accurately by analyzing all the local data about that neighborhood, home prices, historic prices, predicting trends for the future.
So Zillow
And
has already.
Yeah. And so they're already doing that to come up with those estimates that you see on the website. But also they're using natural language searching now. So remember, you should go on Zillow, you should have to go filter Miami, 1 bedroom, backyard, whatever in this neighborhood. Now you can just go on Zillow in the same way that you talk to ChatGPT. I'm looking for a 3-bedroom apartment with no top neighborhood.
That's already in place, or they're working on it.
Yeah, it's already working. So super interesting, just a different way that people search, right, and find their homes, just natural language. And it's also being integrated with voice as well. So that really changes the relationship. People are using AI tools to analyze buyer behavior as well and find listings that match their preferences. And AI also helping agents score leads as well. And so when incoming leads, you can have a lot of information about that buyer that's been generated by AI before you even get on the phone with them and contact them, so that you can right away find that.
How do you reach?
So I'll give you an example. I have an automation. I turned it off, but on my website, I have a contact me. Right? So people fill out first name, last name, email. Boom. Once they hit enter, my little AI thing does a full search. It scrapes the internet. Who is this person? Where do they work? What does their company do? And
where is that? How does it?
It's just public information. Yeah, just public information. All your information is online. You can search about yourself, right? And so, especially if your email is at a specific company, then it tells me about that company. So then within 1 minute that you hit contact me on my page, I receive an email with some of your information, and I pick up the phone and I'm like, hey there, how are you? Oh my God, no way, you're from Austria. Oh, I've been to Vienna. And we immediately connect. You know what I mean? And we're immediately creating that relationship just because I had that little bit of extra information, right?
You program it that way, or you bought a program that does it?
No, I programmed it that way, yeah. And
you programmed it, but that's not something that many people have yet, right?
More and more, that's the thing, right? So people are using these tools for not only lead generation, but lead enrichment as well. And so another way to reach customers, and I'll show you guys also how to generate some leads with ChatGPT, which is really cool. And then we know for marketing and automation as well.
That you're saying this, I was watching somebody that works in human resources, that when you apply for a company, they match your resume to what is on the internet, like LinkedIn and everything that they can find, to match if you're putting false information. Let's say that I said that I worked at Coca-Cola and that I was, I don't know,
the CTO.
Something, and then but in the internet there's other information. So I mean, it's a way of using everything that is available, matching, and then if there's a discrepancy, significant discrepancy, they don't even put you in the next steps.
System. Yeah, it's completely filtering, like for recruiting as well. It's like really big. And so, and then in the real estate world, like people are using it to generate really compelling listings, right, for homes, social media content as well, and just really speeding up the way that you can really get a listing out there, that you can connect with customers, that you can generate content in general for your social media page. So AI is already impacting. And then CRM automations as well. So I don't know if you guys are using any customer relationship management software. Exactly. So just any kind of software that helps you keep track of the application process of your leads. All of that is being automated as well. So now AI can automatically follow up with your client for you 1 year after they bought the home. Hey, happy birthday, like happy home anniversary or whatever, and keep those leads always warm for you.
What CRM do you recommend?
So I really like Monday.com. Yeah.
What is Monday.com?
It's just a client relationship. So it's just a way for you to keep track of.
Is that for real estate agents?
Not specifically, but a lot of companies use it. Yeah. So I really HubSpot, HUB spot.
The one thing, I'm sorry, that's a little confused, because in Austria you don't really have access to how old people are, their addresses and all that. I mean, you can if somebody has a Facebook page, they publicly reveal it, but it's not like, and it seems like here you get everything, where I live, how can that happen? I mean,
it's just all the information that's online. I mean, everything here is so public.
But, it's not online that I lived in that and that place.
It is. It is. It is online.
Who feeds that system?
You did at some point, but
credit card application,
yeah,
maybe, or
everything, right? Public records for me,
but
like
that's really not possible in Austria. I don't understand.
It's false. I mean, and in Austria, they probably have tougher laws about internet crawling, exactly, right? But here, with this automation, for example, it'll go on the person's LinkedIn, on their Facebook, on their Instagram, on their website, and search the internet, pull that information together for me, and give me the lead qualification.
What website do I use? I've seen White Page, or what do I use to find out?
To remove?
Yeah. No, because there are people that I looked up and I couldn't find anything about it. Like there's one person specifically that I keep.
They will work to remove all your information from the internet it takes months. So they will contact data brokers, they will contact different websites that may have information, and using AI as well to help, they will remove your information. I've been thinking about doing that myself, actually.
What program, what do you use to find out about people? Like what specific, is it?
It's just a web search, yeah.
No, in Google? Or you just put it in Google and then...
It just depends on the information that you're trying to find.
I use a tool, Spokeo.
How do you write it?
Spoke.com. Spokeo. I'm speaking, Spokeo.com.
Thank you so much. Oh, Spokeo. Oh, thank you so much. Is it a paid one?
Yes, I do. And it tells me information. For instance, I get a phone call from a weird name.
Yeah.
One of the buyers was from Thailand, and her last name had 16 words, 16 letters, and a lot of I cannot pronounce. So it helped me obtain her last name.
Really?
Yeah, so there's a lot of information about everybody online, right? And different ways to find it, and also now ways to remove from the web in general, right? And so when it comes to lending, another big way that AI is impacting the market, we can look at the example of Rocket Mortgage. So Rocket Mortgage now has this product called which is helping in the loan processing process and the underwriting process. And what they've said so far is that this Rocket Logic AI is classifying over 1.5 million documents for them every month, which is saving them over 5,000 hours of human work reviewing manually those documents and leading to 25% faster closings, right? So imagine in a really competitive market like Florida, where speed matters, right? And when in the process of buying a home, your loan approved 25% faster than the other person that's trying to buy that house. That gives you a big advantage, right? And so these companies are developing these systems, and the leading brokerages and mortgage lenders as well are slowly rolling those out. So it's really a whole new world out there when it comes to home buying. Yeah.
One way that I use the ChatGPT for customers, for instance, I have a customer that she needs to have 700 credit score to be able to live in that community. And her credit score was 660.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I asked, download with annual credit report, your report, send it to me. I upload the files and then tell me how can she improve her credit score, and send letters to Equitrack, to TransUnion, and to... So she, on my way home, not home, on my way here to the office, she said, I am now at 695. So you still are short, but they said pay those bills every month.
Yeah.
But you can upload, so you can serve your customers.
Yeah.
And in the past, like I want to review, we don't have the time to review those reports. So you upload the reports and it tells me the information. I share to the person. She was like, "Oh,
where did you upload that?"
So another example, right? I was doing my taxes this year and I was stuck on this part and I couldn't freaking TurboTax or whatever kept giving me an error. I was like, screw this, right? I gave up. I printed the whole thing. I asked ChatGPT, what is going on? What is causing this? And ChatGPT said, oh, you just have to fix this, you know? And I was like, oh,
document in there?
yes, I put everything. You just upload the file. Yeah, you can upload the file, or you can upload like an Excel spreadsheet and say, hey, analyze this sheet for me, or say like, this cell is giving me an error. Why? And ChatGPT will analyze the entire Excel and it'll be like, oh, it's that, blah, blah, blah. So,
for instance, in Matrix, let's say that we are using one community. We know how many cells, how many pending active. And then based on that, you upload and it will tell you inventory, what is the conditions of that market. So when you're writing an offer, for instance, I was going to receive a cancellation for in order to get extension, I said to the seller, listen, the market is very bad for condos right now. No sales happening in your neighborhood. So it's better for you to sell. Otherwise, your property is going to be in the market for a while. And that information handled with the seller. So I had a conversation with the seller. I represented the buyer, but the seller was reaching out to me.
So you put Matrix.
You copy an Excel. You pull an Excel from Matrix. The community, whatever you're working, or the subdivision, whatever you have that information. You upload, and it will tell you a lot of information that now you can.
You don't need to read it yourself. It will give you an explanation.
They give you the summary.
An explanation.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So, but what I always like to say, and I think especially in the real estate world, but in any profession, as we were talking about before, Alan, where selling is an important component, is that AI is not your replacement, right? AI should be your partner. So it makes you more efficient. You can automate different tasks, right? So that then it frees you all the time that you were spending before doing the manual work and the follow-ups and filling out forms. All that stuff can be automated so that you can spend more time on the one-on-one relationships, right? Because one of the biggest assets that real estate agents especially have is their local knowledge, right? And that one-on-one relationship that you can build, and really giving a buyer the confidence that they're making the right decision in one of the most important moments of their life, right? Like buying a home is a big deal, right? And so
I would think, for example, in mortgage or real estate, let's say you have a client that they want to rent an apartment and they want to prepare. All of you probably do the contract to leases manually, right? Put in the name, the address, But let's say in case there's a system, I don't know if it exists, but that you send the pictures of the licenses. This is the address, and then they fill it out the contract. Or in my case, that I ask all the info, and then I upload the pay stubs, the W-2s, the tax returns, and then like they prepare the 1003, which is the mortgage application. And I think eventually we're gonna get there. And for example, I hate to do mortgage applications.
Yeah.
I like to be out there, getting to know people, selling and things. But it could be
because that's your real value, right? Your value is not sitting in front of the computer filling out a form. Anyone can do that, right? Nobody came to you because Alan is the best one at filling out a form, right? Right? They're coming to you because you have the local knowledge, you have the knowledge about the entire process, right? You can make somebody feel confident in the vision, which is just something that AI can't do, right? And then I know that you do the work of like months later, you follow up with that person. Hey, how's everything going? Are you happy? A year later, hey, are you ready to sell yet? You know what I mean? And so that is what AI can be your partner in, but it cannot replace. That's something that I really like to focus on. Is it's a lot of talk right now. If is AI going to take my job and this and that and the other? Sure, there are going to be people that are going to go online, like we were talking about before. Some people maybe don't need a seller, right? They can just go online and purchase something and move on with their life. Most people need that one-on-one relationship and that confidence. And so that is not just in real estate, but in every profession. What I'm telling professionals is you get to have more time to focus on the things that actually bring you value, right? And what brings you value is actually selling, right? And building those relationships. Filling out the forms is a step that is necessary in the process, but it doesn't actually bring you value, right? And so that is where I always like to encourage people really learn how to use AI so that it can be your partner and it won't be your replacement.
And to add to what you have said, I think that is to empower us to be faster and, for instance, walkthrough. Generate a walkthrough for this condo, this location has two bedrooms, and these appliances and a balcony. Boop, it creates the word file, and and it's already ready for you. So it's very easy to, instead of let's fill out this form, or just it's not the same walkthrough for a big house that versus a traditional condo.
Right.
So, and it was boom, it creates in Word.
Right.
And then you complete it. Well, you print it out, and that's it.
Right. So then instead of you spending an hour doing that, now you have an extra hour to spend with the client, to do the walkthrough, to get another client, do another showing, right? And so ChatGPT, I have ChatGPT, but Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, one tool, millions of use cases, right? You can do it for content creation, legal and financial advice. Last time I was here, I gave the example. My mom, right? She's retired. She got a letter from Social Security, very cryptic letter, right? Like, this law has changed. It may or may not affect your benefits. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, if it may or may not affect me, why are you, right? So instead of me going online, what is this law, blah, 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 I uploaded the letter to ChatGPT. Hey, this is my mom. My mom got this letter. She is 70-something years old, blah, 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 blah. I told her the situation. ChatGPT told me, oh, this law does affect her. She will get around $50 a month extra. And lo and behold, the next month she had gotten like a $48 and some cents extra in her retirement. Right?
Would you mind showing me how you upload things at ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Is it a PDF actually?
You can upload pretty much any.
Document in an email. It's
Yeah,
the same.
it's
You
the
can
same.
upload a video, you can upload a photo, you can upload.
You can.
We're hands on here. We're hands on in this workshop. So, and then you just ask it to analyze that file for you. Yeah. So, and you can be walking around, you take a photo of something, like you said, hey, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is that. Blah,
Can we
blah.
try that with the building at some point?
We can try. So, for work and business, right, many different examples. As a companion, I always give this example. He has a kid that's in like 6th grade or something, and he's always trying to help the kid with the homework. And as we know, we don't remember any of that stuff, right? Like the 6-year-old, like there's a reason that TV show "Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader" exists, right? Because those questions are hard. So my friend told me, you know what I do now is I go and I take a photo of my son's homework. I ask ChatGPT to explain it to me, and then I go and explain it to my son, and now my son thinks I'm a genius. You know what I mean? I'm like, amazing. Right. And also people are using it to learn languages. You can ask ChatGPT, for example, to design a course for you to learn Spanish or whatever you want to learn. Productivity.
Can you imagine, like, I'm a teacher, and I'm teaching Spanish basic 1 for someone that, please prepare, before teachers had to prepare, questions and things and material. Now, a lot of this could be used, you can use.
Well, so that's very interesting, right? Because that was on the news recently. So obviously teachers are seeing this everywhere, right? Like they get a lot of research papers that all look very similar, you know what I mean? And it's very obvious that it was done by AI. That's one side of the issue. The other side of the issue is that at universities, imagine you study your entire life, you get into Harvard, right? You turn in one of your papers in one of your classes, and your teacher just has ChatGPT graded. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
What's the point? So just the teacher just has ChatGPT review your work for you instead of the teacher actually checking it, right? So what's the point, right? Anyone can do that. Like, why are you paying thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to Harvard? Just if ChatGPT is going to be the one checking your work and giving you feedback. So it's happening both ways.
But the reason is because what one teacher told me is that they are reviewing to verify create with intelligence.
Yeah.
And they review and they will say, well, yes,
so that's
90% of the
happening
contents was copied.
But that has existed for a long time, even before AI. There was this website called turnitin.com. I don't remember, and it analyzes. But in any case, it's happening on both sides, right? The student is using ChatGPT to write it. The teacher's using ChatGPT to review it, and nobody's actually doing any work, right? And so it's a lot to think about there. And then planning and organizing as well is a great tool for that. I have this framework that I like to use, and it's great for getting better answers out of ChatGPT of these tools. And I'll explain. You get home from work one day, right? And you're like exhausted. You open the fridge. There's nothing to eat. So you call your significant other, right? And you're like, hey, babe, can you pick up dinner? Babe's like, yeah, sure. So then babe gets home an hour later and they brought Chipotle, right? And now you're upset because you wanted pollo. Whose fault is it, right? All you told babe was get dinner, right? And they did that. So it's the same thing with ChatGPT, right? You have to tell it what you want. Don't make it guess. It doesn't live in your head, right? And so it's not the same. You say, hey, write me a business plan for a food truck. Then if you say, write me a business plan for a food truck in Miami that's going to be serving tacos, and the target customer is this, and blah, 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 and it's going to be placed here and that, you're going to get a much better answer, right? And so that's why I came up with this framework that I like to call PREPA. And what it stands for is P is for the pre-existing conditions. So give ChatGPT the context. Depending on what you're asking, tell it about yourself, tell it about the company. Set the scene, right? Give it the context of why you're asking it what you're asking for. Then you assign it a role. And this one always seems kind of silly, but I promise you it works. So if you're asking it for a meal plan, I want you to be an expert nutritionist, right? If you're asking it for information about a specific neighborhood in Miami, I want you to act as the biggest Miami specialist in the real estate world. You know what I mean? And what that does is it gets the language model to, number one, change the language that it's using. So, for example, it's not going to talk to you the same if you're asking it to act like a fifth grade a lawyer, right? And it also centers in on a specific set of data so it can find you that information better as well, right? And then the E, explicit instructions. Be specific about what you want the AI to do. Hey, give me this in an email summary for an executive leader. Give me an outline for 5 PowerPoint slides, right? Give me a meal plan for 3 meals a day for 7 days a week, right? Give me.
You know what I'm thinking about? For example, you have a client that, let's say, you guys as an agent, and then maybe you're gonna go to a neighborhood that you're not familiar with, so like Pembroke Pines. Like, tell me the highlights of Pembroke Pines because I wanna talk to my client and show that I'm knowledgeable about that area. And then probably ChatGPT will give all this So, for example, maybe like, I wanna maybe see if there are any open houses in the area. I think we need to, like you said, feed ChatGPT with info because the more you give, the more he kind of.
But we can give that info too. How does it know it's not that?
Well, it's you're not gonna purposely give it that info, right? Unless you're trying to trick it. But
there will be people that do it.
Yeah, but then that's their intention. Essentially, you want to be explicit with what you want. Tell it. Remember what I'm saying, right? It does not live in your head. Tell it what you want. Then you can also give it parameters, right? So an example that I always give, I upload a lot of videos to YouTube. The description can be up to 500 characters. So I ask ChatGPT to help me with the video description, and I say, give me a description for this YouTube video up to 500 characters, right? Write me this email, make it short, right? Less than, 1,000 words or whatever. Give me 5 slides a point, or even more, right? If you have the paid version of ChatGPT, give me the Excel template to do this. And it'll give you a downloadable Excel that you can download, right? Give me a worksheet to teach my class, right? My 5th grade class. and it will give you that you can just simply download. It gives you more than just text. It actually can give you files. A lot of people don't know this, that you can directly download.
For instance, yesterday the NAR published the information about how the U.S. is the market in real estate, and then Miami also published Miami Real Estate Association for Miami and for Broward. So I upload the links, and I say compare side by side, national, Broward, Miami,
and it gives you the table,
and it prepares the table. And they say how you want to like graph, you want to, so you start working with that information.
You uploaded the links?
You
can upload the link. You can give it a link.
For instance, give me a summary. I don't have the time to read the book that they mentioned that I want to give me a summary of that book.
Yeah. Or even better, right? Give me a summary of that book that I could explain to a group of executives or a group of teenagers, right? Or that I can, or like talk to me, like a lot of times I tell ChatGPT this, talk to me like I'm 5. You know what I mean? Like explain this to me really well. And it does, it really explains like in detail. And so, and then the last thing that I always like to ask, and this is the most powerful one, is telling ChatGPT to ask you what information it needs. So you can say, hey, I'm writing a business plan, the example before, I'm writing a business plan for a food truck in Miami. We give it all the parameters. And then at the end, you can put ChatGPT. You can ask me up to 3 to 5 questions if you need more information to make this plan even better. And then whatever you didn't tell it, ChatGPT is going to come back and ask you, oh, where is this food truck going to be? You know, is it vegetarian? Is it, what kind of food are you going to be serving? And it's going to ask you relevant information that it needs to give you an even better output.
So you just write in ChatGPT.
Yeah, ask me up to 3 to 5 questions if you need more information. And sometimes it may say, I don't need it, you know, or usually it will ask you more information, and that will help the output that it gives you. So that is always, of course, yeah. And I'll share that.
I share another. I have a friend from Brazil. Carpaccio. How do you call the venue? Carpaccio. How do you say?
Wine?
No.
Carpaccio.
So she said, I need to create a carpaccio. Okay. To the menu, 16 people for 1 week. So, and she is expert in cuisine. So I say, I want a menu 1 day for this. So how many pounds of rice? How many this? So it was prepared like wow. She
perfect menu, right?
The menu, and she know the person how many what she need to order. Okay, because she could adults are gonna be for 16 people.
Yeah, and in that case, you could have also put at the end, hey, ask me 3 to 5 questions that you need, right? And ChatGPT probably would have asked her, hey, is anybody a vegetarian? Gluten, like information that is important for what you're asking, but you didn't necessarily give, right? Super powerful way to do it. And I always tell people, adapt it to your needs, right? So
what about marketing? I think last time you mentioned a little bit about marketing.
Yeah.
How can we use more ChatGPT and all these AI tools for marketing?
Yeah, I mean, so as I was mentioning before, you can use it for content generation. ChatGPT will also generate. So there's many different ways. It can do market research for you, right? And I'm going to show an example of how we can generate. What I always like to say here is that obviously use this when it's needed, right? If you just need some information that's obvious, like let's say you need to know the capital of Paraguay, right? You're not going to sit there and be like, I am a man in my 30s, you know, blah, 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 blah. Ask me up to 5 questions. Anyway, what's the capital of Paraguay, right? Just ask it. But if you need something very specific, tailored, that needs a little bit more research, a little bit of nuance and detail, you remembering this framework, and you don't have to use it even exactly in the same order. The key thing to remember is that what you get out is only as good as what you put in, right? And so the more quality information that you give it, the better the result that you're going to get. The more generic the prompt that you give, the more generic the answer that you're going to get. And,
I'm so sorry, but I have to go.
That's okay. I will share the. Thank you. I will send you by email later.
Thank you so much.
Um,
No, thank you very much. This was great. Nice to meet you, everyone.
Yeah. And
So I'm sorry I'm missing the rest, but
That's okay. So we're to the end here. I do want to give an example. Use for this workshop, for example, to generate a list of emails of people that I could invite here. Right. So you're going to see just how much information I gave. And what I did here is ChatGPT has this tool called Deep Research.
Where is it?
It's right here. So select here at the bottom. There's usually always like different options, tools, and you can select Deep Research.
Cool.
And what this does is it'll take usually about 10 to 15 minutes to give you an answer because it's really, really researching, and it's going to give you exactly what you want, and it's going to source everything. And with the paid version of ChatGPT, $20 a month, I think.
A year now?
$20 a month.
Really?
And you get I forget exactly how many deep researches you get per month. They keep changing it. But essentially, to show as an example, right, what I put, I'm an AI consultant hosting an AI fundamentals workshop in Coral Gables. And I would like to invite business professionals, right? Please provide me, here putting the parameters, right? The explicit instructions. Give me a spreadsheet with contact information for 50 small businesses. And then I put my criteria. I want businesses with up to 50 employees. I want them to be based around this address here because the event is here. These are the types of businesses that I want to reach. So mortgage brokers, real estate agencies, blah, 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 blah. All these different types of businesses. And then I even put at the end what businesses not to include. Don't include bars, restaurants, or retail shops because those are usually not my target market. And then I gave it the parameters. I want a spreadsheet with these columns. I want the business name. I want the name of the owner. I want the email address. I want the phone number. I want their website. I want their social media.
Do you mind sending me that?
Yes, no problem. And then I gave it some extra notes, right? Prioritize the emails of the owners, but if there isn't one, give me their general contact email. Ensure that those businesses are open. And how do I want you to do that? Prioritize businesses with some kind of online presence. So the business that should have a website or a LinkedIn or a Google or an Instagram as a way to validate that it's a real business that is actually operational, right? And then I gave it the parameters. I want 50 results, and I want those to be businesses that would likely benefit these services. It's just a number that I gave. Yeah,
they don't have a space here for it.
Yeah, no, but I did this several times, and actually, one of the times that I did it was interesting because you will see it'll give you exactly what it searched, how it searched, the logic that it followed, and in one of the times that I did it, it told me we couldn't find 50 businesses nearby, so we expanded the radius a little bit to 2 miles. You know what I mean? So it kind of can make its own decisions also along the way. And then to end it, I put here, as you can see, you can ask me 3 to 5 questions relevant to the search that if you need before you start. So I'm going to send this and let's see which questions it's going to ask me. So you can see very long prompt, right? I put work.
Meanwhile, I was thinking, I'm going to say something. Last time, after, I tried to use ChatGPT. I don't know if you ever use social media content. I think that's something that you guys should try if you haven't, because sometimes we waste time, right, to prepare it. And sometimes if we use ChatGPT, we can maybe prepare content for the whole month, and then every day, boom, post it. And otherwise, we spend time making a video or thinking of what we're going to post. And
so here we can see the questions that ChatGPT came back and asked me before it did the research, right? So it needed more information to give me what I wanted. So first thing that it asked me, would you prefer businesses registered at LLCs or solo proprietors also okay? I'm going to say both are fine. Prioritize companies that have a website and LinkedIn, or is a Google business profile sufficient? I'm also going to prioritize business to business over business to, yes, I'm going to say I want business to business. So like businesses that do businesses with other business of consumers directly. So are friendable. So for example, independently owned insurance agency that's part of a national brand, such as Supreme Landing, Coral Gables. So yes, franchises are acceptable. And number 5, should I include home-based businesses, those with office locations? And I'm gonna say no home. Okay. And obviously you can answer whatever is relevant, right, for your business. So once you're gonna see, okay, I'll compile, I'll prioritize decision makers, blah, blah, blah. And here you can see starting research. And it's gonna take about 15 minutes or so.
Deep research, sorry, but deep research is just much better than regular research.
Much better. So yeah, if you just well, if you don't mind waiting 10 or 15 minutes, yeah.
do something else.
Yeah, so if you just need something quick, but if you need something that you need the sources, you need to know the this is a great tool.
How much do you pay in ChatGPT, your version?
$20. $20 a month. Yeah.
So are there different versions?
There is another version that's $200 a month, and it can do a lot of other stuff. Yeah, but this is $20 a month is perfect for most people. The free one is also just
The
fine.
free was it was fine for me, but when I needed to upload the credit reports, they said you can upload only 3 files a day, and I have the files as a
Yeah, so it allows you to upload more files. It allows you to do more deep research. So as I said, this is going to take about 10 or 15 minutes. I already did it, so I could show you guys the results. Same prompt, right, that I entered in the other one. And here is...
No, how does it get email addresses? Are you kidding me?
He asked for it.
I asked for them, yeah. So here you can see all these different businesses, their addresses. You can see they're all here in Coral Gables, just like I asked. The type of business, they're mortgage brokers, they're real estate agents, blah, blah, blah. Their Instagram, or website that I asked it to validate if it's a real business or not. And I have all that information. From here, all I did was I then asked it to just give me the email addresses from that list. And I just copy and pasted them into my mailing list, and I send invites, and that's maybe how some of you got here today. So I did this pretty much every day for the last couple of weeks. So it's changing the prompt a little bit, right, to get new businesses in new areas, and that way promoting my business, promoting myself, getting leads, and etc. So that's.
Please send us that. Send us that.
Yes.
Don't forget.
And another really good tip that I can give everybody is you can ask ChatGPT to improve your prompt. Mm-hmm. So you can say, hey, ChatGPT, I want to do a deep research. Help me about whatever. Help me improve this prompt. And ChatGPT is going to help you improve the prompt. You copy it, you paste it into a new chat, and you do the deep research, and boom, you get much, much better results, right?
AI on your day-to-day. Does anybody has like any suggestions so we can all learn like how you using are you using AIs, today, and like how do you have any tips?
For example, the other day I have something in my stomach that I never suffered from that, and I was doing a treatment, but people when it's doing their stuff doesn't elaborate that much because they doesn't have time. So what I did, I tell, hey, I have this happened to me, I feeling this, and explaining what I have. So with time, it said, okay, you have this, based on what your doctor says, you can improve your diet with this. So when I was feeling more stuff, I said, now I have this, or remember stuff, I put more information, said, based on that, this could be this. So it really helped me to go through my nutritional plan, and I heal myself with natural. So I told that I'm more into the holistic healing, and he knows me that I'm into that. So the ChatGPT helped me to do my diet plan and change it with the days. And I was asking, I'm not feeling better, so I said, okay, if you're feeling better, you can now include more stuff, more food, take care of this, help me with some recipes based on this. So elaborate a meal plan for 3 days with those foods. So in that sense, it helped me more than the doctor and the people that was counseling me about.
I think my mom is older, right? She's ready to take her to a lot of.
How much is older?
She's like 75, and so it's been having some health issues lately. And we all know, we've all had this experience when you go to the doctor, they just want to leave, right? They sometimes, a lot of doctors are not that great. They just want to, hey, what's going on? Oh, do this and that. They don't even care about you, and they leave, right? And I was having that experience a lot, like taking my mom to these doctors. And so what did I do? I just started going better prepared, right? So my mom would get like lab work, like blood, urine, and all that. I upload the results to ChatGPT, and I say, hey, ChatGPT, my mom has a doctor's appointment coming up. Analyze these labs. And then based on that, ChatGPT will give me an answer, and I will go to the doctor. Mr. Doctor, come here before you go. What does this mean in her labs? What does this mean? What should we do about this? I saw that this is high, this is low. And that has really helped. So it's showing, it's showing you, this is the deep research, and it's showing you the searching for mortgage brokers, and now it's saying, nope, that didn't work. I'm going to resort to a different method. So it's really just walking you through the deep research that it's doing, and then it is also showing here all the different sources that it's using.
On the left side, I was just wondering, like, for example, ChatGPT knows she's holistic, and it's going to give her specifically holistic example because ChatGPT knows her already, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't count on that. You gotta give it that information when you ask it again. It will learn for you over time, but when it's something that important, like your health, when it's something like that, I always give it the information again. Like, it knows that I'm an AI consultant, right? But you can see that I still put on this prompt that I'm an AI consultant.
On the left side, does it always say when I ask, for example, sometimes I ask for translations, that's what I use it for, or ask simple questions, but then there are different, is there any hidden how to do that?
This here you're talking about?
Columns on the left.
Here? This is just your chat history here. And
but it's not that I can go in a specific one and continue whatever.
you can continue. Yeah, just go to your history and you can continue from there. Yeah, you just, everything that I've talked to ChatGPT is here, and you can just go to those different chats. You can still access, that's your chat history.
I was thinking, for example, all of us in sales, we want to know what's going on in town, right? And there are so many things in Miami that it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get things in email or WhatsApp or somebody calls, and there are a lot of things that maybe we miss, events that they're nice to, network. For example, I'm going to one next month, Frost Art in FIU. I think maybe like checking even Bright is a website, right? We go there, we look, but there are a lot of things that sometimes they're not there.
Yeah. But I would not use ChatGPT for that.
To finding events or things.
Because, so as they update the systems, they add new data to it. So like we can look this up. It'll tell you, oh, ChatGPT only has the internet data until June 20th or something like that. You know what I mean? So anything more.
For like current, like what can I do this weekend? And
it doesn't know. It's not there. It's not there. Unless you do a deep research like that, then it actually searches that. But I wouldn't use it for something very current.
Deep research would find out the events that are going to happen? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it would. So some of my favorite tools for meetings, I love this tool that's called otter.ai. And that one is a meeting transcriber. So this is already a built-in feature in Zoom or Google Meet. Otter gives you a certain number of minutes. And so that is super great for whenever you have meetings with your clients. You don't need to be sending recaps later or notes. It'll listen in on your meetings, give you a summary that you can then.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to be in a meeting with a client, and then I just put voice recorder.
No, yeah, it's just Otter, or if Zoom has it built in, it'll be in the background on one of your windows, or it may even show up in your meeting there as a participant.
But if I have a face-on-face meeting, then I have to.
You can do that too. You can have, no, but I'm talking about online meetings, but you can do it in in-person meetings as well. You just open the app on your phone. So it's just essentially going to transcribe the entire conversation that you had, summary, as well as next steps. If you talked about next steps during the meeting, it'll give you immediate, oh, Vera said she's going to do this, Alan said she's going to do that, and it'll give you that checklist.
That's good purpose. Before, in meetings, there was always a person taking the notes. In this case, whoever is taking the notes can just use the system and then review the notes.
Well, I mean, the person that's taking the notes is going to do a different job.
There's an IA tool called Notebook LM.
It's the same. Yeah, it works.
Notebook LM.
Yeah, and that one is really good as well, but it's not free, I don't think. Or I think it has a limit. My absolute favorite tool, of course, is ChatGPT, as we showed before. Thousands of different uses for it, and I keep finding out new things every day that it can do that still blow my mind. And then my other favorite tool is this that we're seeing right here, and it's called Gamma. It's extremely impressive, and I think about, back when I had my corporate job, just how much time I would spend after every meeting sending a recap. Sometimes if it was a really important client, I could spend 30, 45 minutes just writing an email recap about the meeting. And then if I had a meeting coming up with a big account, I could spend 2-3 days preparing a PowerPoint, right? And resizing the images and adjusting the text and blah, 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 blah. And now I just enter the text. I have the presentation created for me. As you guys can see, it looks beautiful, right? These are nice stuff. And I just have to go in and make adjustments, but it's done, right? And so really, really time saving. And
what was the other one? Sorry.
Bonus is just different tools together to create different content, right? So for example,
that's just a word. That's not an.
It's just a bonus. Yeah, it's just a word. So I'm just saying you can use all these different tools together. Like, for example, taking your transcript from a meeting, asking ChatGPT to summarize it, and then you plug it into Gamma to create a presentation. So to generate content really fast and really effectively.
There's another one called 11 Labs.
Yeah.
Where you upload your voice and now you can speak in different languages.
Yeah. It's insane.
Oh my God.
What was the name again?
11
Labs.
11 Labs.
And I was talking to Alan about this earlier because it's scary.
Russian.
Because it can, and it can also just recreate your voice. And so the scary thing about that is that for scams, right? Imagine somebody calls my mom. My mom has fallen for a scam example. But imagine if somebody called my mom, it sounds just like me. Hey mom, do me a Zelle, send me a Venmo, whatever. And she would think it was me and she would do it, right? And so that is just like super scary.
We can say to the client, look, I was here in downtown Brico. I just met Maluma, and then he sent regards to you. Hey Juan, how are you? This is Maluma. I'm here with Noraima.
I know. He said he has a crush on me, right? I know he did.
And he wants to meet.
So, and then when I was talking about automations and the way that businesses are making themselves more efficient, this is what I'm talking about here, right? It's connecting all these different softwares that we use at work, like your email, your calendar, your QuickBooks, your whatever, right? Like a small business or even a independent contractor can be using 50 different things, right? And now with AI, we can, in the back end, connect all those things to work seamlessly. And as I said, to free more time for you to do the value added work that actually brings you money or just so everybody knows, like the full suite of service I offer, powered by AI. So digital presence enhancement, such as building custom web pages with optimized for SEO, search engine optimization. So to make sure that you come up on top results on Google's, creating bots, both internal for companies or chatbot, like the ones that you talk to for customer service. It's just a sales and marketing accelerations, lead creation and enrichment as well as social media content creation and automations. Brand development is something that I do as well, such as professional brand kits and as well as customer review management system. Imagine you're like a restaurant or a business and somebody leaves a review for you on Google or on Facebook or whatever. We can automate responding to that or even ensuring that you higher ratings in your business. And then business operations is automating different workflows, invoicing, calendar, event creation, follow-ups. Many different things are possible. So
you would program that for the company.
Yeah. So I usually work one-on-one with business owners.
Mm-hmm.
We just sit down for however long it takes and we chat. And then based on that, we identify what the opportunities are and I custom build things for companies depending on what their needs are. So, because we're going, so sorry. But this has been really interesting conversation. I really appreciate it. So the the risks, right? As I said, risks. One of them is hallucinations. And so that is when AI just starts saying things accurate, stuff up. It's happening less and less, but it can happen. As we all know, there's a lot of fake information online, right? And it's all not always easy to discern what is real and what's not. And so sometimes AI can start hallucinating. There's an example, lawyer AI hallucination. So this was on the news recently. Essentially, he was working for a case line. It was an airline versus whatever. I don't remember exactly what it was, but essentially, as a lawyer, he asked ChatGPT, "Hey, what are the precedents for this case? What other cases have happened in study and present?" So ChatGPT gave him a bunch of cases. It was like Delta versus whoever, China Airlines versus whoever, and he didn't check. He just turned it into the judge, you know what I mean? Did his little AI thing, and it became a huge deal. It was like the first case that was like nationally known for that, and he almost accreditation over that. The judge ended up making him go make apologies to everybody, review the entire work, and so it's important to review, yes, and if you're in doubt, ask for the source. Where did this come from? What are you talking about, right? And sometimes I've seen it. It'll also say random stuff. Like the other day, I was working with a platform that I'm using for coding something, and it just started saying this crazy. It was like, if you want to feel closer to God, you should imagine your future wife or something like that. Like just random stuff. And I was like, future wife? Like, no, you don't know me. Obviously, you don't know me, right? Copyright concerns is also really. AI has crawled the entire internet, right? And essentially, the millionaires have stolen all of our work, all of our art, all of our beauty, all of our ideas, treating them themselves. And so there's a lot of cases right now in court, the future of copyright. And also, the other side of that question is, who owns the content that the AI created, right? So first, there's the content that the AI stole, and then there's the content that the AI created. Like, who gets compensated for what it stole, and who owns the content that it creates, right? So those questions are all unanswered, and in court, months ago, the tech leaders from Microsoft gave a proposal to President Trump, which he didn't follow within his AI plan that he released yesterday. But they are so shameless, right? What they were asking for was for President Trump to sign into an executive order that AI was exempt from copyright laws. So
such a joke.
It's insane, right? Like the level, the goal. And so that's what they wanted. They just wanted to be able to continue stealing everybody's ideas and art and
I think nowadays everything is public. Like it's before you wanted to, it's like something, like now you can get movies, books, everything there. I mean, before.
Well, if you pay for it, right? Unless you're pirating stuff. And what these, a lot of like ChatGPT and these other companies, what they're doing now is signing deals with the news outlets and the book publishers and things like that to be able to access their content, which I think is a much more fair way to do it than just stealing everything.
Will go up for
right?
Us to using it. But
we'll see, right? It's interesting. And then is what's called deep fakes. So a deep fake is just an image or a video of a known person doing something that they were.
Like doing ayahuasca and being
like video of Obama getting arrested, right? The first, I think, big example that everybody saw was the deep fake Pope.
Did it really look real, the deep fake, the Obama deep fake?
No, you could tell that one was AI. But this one, essentially photos of before this Pope here passed a couple years ago. So these photos, when was this from? I don't know exactly when it was, but essentially it was just photos of the Pope looking super fashionable, right? He's wearing like a Gucci jacket and like looking like he just came from Club 11 downtown, right? And so you can Google
Pope because
he did that also, and then people looked into it, and it became kind of obvious. The details are not quite right.
If you know a bit about the Pope, you know that is not I mean,
exactly. And that's exactly the issue, right? We can see how this becomes a big deal, especially during political season, right? And, a video of the president saying something that he didn't say or whatever it is. And as we know, the issue with that is that when something goes viral, a lot of people see it, right? But then when it comes out that it was fake, only a small percentage of those people see it. Like the fake news debunking is not as fun as the original. And so probably many people saw these deep fake photos of the Pope whenever it came out and still think it's real.
And how many people, sorry, do you think are AI educated already? Because it's not a thing knowing that any, right?
No, it's very hard, right? You have to be real pro. And it's going to only get harder because they're only getting better, right? My husband was listening to something. No, he was watching a video. I could hear it. I was like, that's AI. And he was like, no, it's not. And I didn't even see the video. I could just hear it. He was like, no, it's not. I was like, no, like it sounds like. And then I looked at it. I was like, how could you not tell it's AI? He was like, what do you mean? And so it's a whole thing. But yeah, everybody is not going to be trained on that, right? And so
I think there are possibilities. And the person that was presenting about AI mentioned something. I want you to, I don't know the system, but it was like, I want you to create like a podcast for my restaurant.
mm-hmm.
And 2 people are going to talk about the experience that they had in my restaurant and the dishes that they ate.
Yeah.
And how nice it was.
Yeah.
So it's,
this is an app that it's from Google also. I think actually that Notebook LM app does this also. Yeah, create a podcast about whatever. And it just sounds like 2 people as you listen to the podcast, just people just talking, chatting, and it sounds super real, but it's just marketing. It's just 2 AIs talking to each other. Oh my God, you're not going to believe it. There's this new restaurant in Coral Gables. Well, no way. What did you eat there? Blah, blah, blah. And it sounds just like a podcast, but it's just AI.
Like
right?
If you want to do like an interview, I was interviewed by whoever, and then like you can
fake that. Yeah. Risks. More job displacement, unfortunately, or I would say reconfigure. People always ask me, like, is AI going to take my job? I always say no, but the economy is going to change. If we think about the internet, right? How many jobs existed before the internet that don't exist anymore, right? But how many jobs exist now that didn't exist before as well? So people do need to get retrained and new jobs are going to be coming. However, there's always that period where people are already losing their jobs, right? We see, for example, I just saw the other day, Facebook announced that they were letting go of 40% of their developers and only keeping the developers that are really good at using AI. And I thought, okay, like I remember just a few years ago, everybody was saying, learn how to code, right? Like learn how to, like that's the job of the future. And then that's just not the case anymore, right? Because now AI can do it. So there's going to be big changes there.
And then you go to university for coding.
you're first right.
Exponential privacy erosion. As we know, our privacy has already been eroded, especially since the dawn. Can you close that, please, on? Close that. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Vera. And that's just going to become more and more with AI. Imagine, like, already many places are installing security cameras with AI, like facial recognition systems and things like that. And so that's just bound to get worse. Another one that's really scary is autonomous weapons, which already exist. So they're being used already in Ukraine and in Gaza. So weapons that have AI systems that can make decisions for themselves. So
what do you mean, like that the weapon will go off if a certain signal?
Yeah. So, for example, a drone in Ukraine.
There's no need for a command, like
There's
a real
no need
person.
for a command.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And it's that the target that it's going after, it's in this specific building, and so it blows up the entire building, and that building is full of innocent women and children, right? So, who committed that murder, right? Is it the AI? Is it the government that sent it? Is it like it's a lot of have a drink one day and start thinking about this, and your mind is really going to be going crazy.
I think we're very lucky because we are in the United States.
Yes.
And the United States is like top technology. Because think about Brazil. Brazilian army, I don't know, we don't fight with anyone.
No.
But the
We're
Brazilian
peaceful. We're peaceful people.
but the
Thank God.
Brazilian army is like
them.
Yeah, we fight. Yes.
but the Brazilian army is analogic, right?
What's that?
It's not. I mean, it's like
It's not as technologically advanced as the
Oh,
US one, for
okay.
example.
right. For example,
Yeah.
the US has like all the best equipment. Like, for example, they say, for example, if you wanna in a war with all this technology, you have much more precision. You don't even need to risk a human life because you can use like all these drones and things.
Yeah.
So I think nowadays we're becoming more and more like Terminator and all these movies because it's like, you know, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think we got to really take advantage. We're in the United States. We have access to a lot of this and like data that we can use the data online.
And
Yeah,
you know,
we're
imagine
blessed to be in the US for sure. Go
how
ahead.
long it's gonna take until people catch up. I remember I never phone
Mhm.
back then. I didn't want to have a cell phone. I didn't want and I always had to catch up with everything. Computer, like, you know, and it's gonna be the same with this, I guess.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and as we're going to keep seeing, it's going to continue being everywhere. And then the other thing is, as we know, especially since the age of social media, with all the algorithms that decide what we see, right? What you see on your Instagram is completely different than what I see, thanks to the algorithms. And those biases are only going to increase. As we already talked about in the beginning, it's the same problematic tech oligarchs, right? And they are a very monolithic group of people. It's just all very similar profiles of people, we can say. It's just been getting a lot worse since social media, and AI is just likely to make it even more biased, these algorithms, right? And so where is it headed? You probably already heard about AI agents, right? And so the difference between the AI that we have now and an agent is the action. So right now, I could ChatGPT, what's the best restaurant, right? What some people are already doing is, hey, my little agent, check Alan's calendar for me, see when he's free, see when I'm free, and make us a reservation at the best restaurant in Miami. So Alan and I don't even have to talk. We just have to show up to our reservation that actually make doing. The next thing that people really talk about is called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. And remember when I said in the beginning that the AI we have now is not actual intelligence? AGI would be probably the closest thing to actual intelligence that we can have. And the baseline for that is basically human intelligence. So once it becomes more intelligent than us, than what we're capable of doing, that's when it will be considered AGI. And that was predicted to happen just last year. People were saying 2040. Earlier this year, I heard 2030. Last year or last month, I heard 2027. So who knows? But
talking about feelings change.
yeah, but it's not real feeling. Well, feelings is something different, right? But I'm talking about reasoning. So it's capable of reasoning, learning on its own, problem solving across different domains. So that is, and then if we were to list leaders and the oligarchs, what they are saying is that it's going to be utopia, right? The AI, yeah, and AI is going to unlock all this wealth and it's democratizing all the information, and everybody's going to have. I'm old enough to remember when that was the internet that was going to do all that, right? Like the internet was going to change everything and make everybody rich and democratizing the information. And
it didn't.
Well, it did a lot, right? But it's not, I would not say that we live in utopia, right? And so I always remember whoever's telling us something, what do they have to gain, right? And so these tech leaders and millionaires, they are only going to get richer and richer by making us believe in this utopia future. And so I don't buy into it. But if you were to listen to Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and whoever, that's what's coming. So I'll let you decide for yourselves if you believe that or not. And your final thoughts. And people are always asking me, as I said in the beginning, is AI going to take my job? Is AI going to take my job? That's the number one question that I hear probably at least 10 times a day. And what I always tell people is no, like AI is not going to take your job, but somebody that knows how to use AI really well might, right? And so do you want to be the person that is learning how to use AI, that is becoming more efficient? Or do you want to be the person that's getting replaced by someone that knows how to use AI better, right? And I always relate back to the example of the internet, like we talked about, all the jobs that existed before the internet that don't exist anymore, but like all the jobs that exist now that didn't exist a few years ago, right? And look at all the people who got left behind because they never learned, right? Like I keep going back to my mom, but she's in her 70s and it's hard for her to do most things, right? Because you need to do banking, you need to be on your phone. You need to do something, everything's on the internet, right? And it's even like simple things, right? Like converting a document to like a PDF and attaching it to your email, right? Like so many people have difficulty doing that. And so that's the reason why I do events like this. It's really the reason why I started this business, because I really want to educate everybody and encourage people to use your imagination. You know what I mean? I think AI is actually cool to see everything that ChatGPT and all these other tools can do and how efficient we can be. But you really have to lean into it and be willing to learn, which you guys already did by being here today. You took the first step. And I just want to say thank you. Yeah, you have my email address there. You have my business card as well.
To get leads?
Yeah, so that you for you can just adapt it, right? And so for me, I was looking for people to come to my workshop. You would change the wording there to whatever your needs are, right? And so we can actually see that. So here's the result. Oh, it's still going. So that deep research that I sent, it's still going. It has searched 67 different sources. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be done on time for us to see it, but it's going to be very similar to the one that I showed before, right? The actual result that I showed here, the Excel.
Probably you could do, let's say, in real estate, look for the owners of the houses in this neighborhood, their name, their address, phone number, and then you can boom send an email to them. My name is Noraima. I'm an agent in your neighborhood in case you want to sell your house, and then
I don't live in Florida. The person will say,
right.
They may receive a message. I sold my house 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But
or for example, in mortgage, in my case, in case we're doing refis, which we're not doing right now, but let's say. And how much they bought the house for, and how much they. And your house now is worth $500,000, and then if we refi, you can get $100,000. So I think with AI, I think we need to it's like doing gym. The more I think we get into it, get out of it, and
like I said, I'm working with it every day, and I'm still finding new things, and it's new, so there's to discover. So
Yes.
It's unbelievable. And that thing that it's out there, who bought it, all those things, they're very protected and options. That's why I'm still like,
I know.
How do you know?
You have a very European point of view. In America, everything is very open. You have.
No, so first people get email addresses and all that.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Whoever is willing and able to scan a QR code also and leave me a review, it would be really appreciated. You guys don't know how those reviews are actually really helpful, right, for a small business. And that's it. Thank you.
Oh my God.